right, welcome everyone. It is so great to see you all here. There's so many familiar faces and so many new ones. Macy Anderson in the house, awesome. I love it. Hello, Chuck. Hello, Nanette, Trisha, Jessica, Devin. So good to see you, my friend. So many faces. Trisha, I think I already said Trisha. Andrea, you guys are amazing. All right, I'm first going to start off by saying awesome that you all are here. I'm going to be talking for probably 90 minutes. So be engaged, put questions in the Q&A box, whatever you're going to take, but I'm going to have my presentation on and I'm going to be probably flipping through screens. This is really designed to be a master class, meaning I'm your teacher. I'm teaching in front of a classroom. It just tends to be virtually. And you're taking notes, you're listening, you're getting ready to ask questions. After the 90 minutes, hopefully I'll be wrapped up about them. And I'm going to leave it open after 90 minutes for any questions. I can go in and out of different spreadsheets at that point if you would like, since the first part's pretty much lecture. And at the end, I've got some gifts for you if you stay to the end. One, we're going to have an opportunity to set up a 30-minute business consult with me if you would like that, if you stay to the end. Two, you're going to see some of the tools that I use. One is this 7 F words workbook, and we'll send you that workbook. I have a business planning agenda that I'll send you my business planning agenda and a couple other goodies. So again, that's my incentive, my carrot to keep you guys to the end and hopefully just answer questions. My goal for today is to really deliver a lot of value, to make this really worth your time, worth your probably 2 hours. And so let me know what your need if I'm not giving it to you. Again, I'll be talking a lot. So I always apologize up front for knowing I'm just going to be, kind of a talking head, but there's a lot to cover. What I'm going to be sharing with you in this 90 minutes to 2 hours is really a 3-day workshop. So this is 3 days. It's every year I do my own personal planning, personal and business. And I usually take a workshop to even work on that. So I'm going to talk about my mentor, my business planning mentor. So what I'm doing is I'm basically covering 3 full days in 90 minutes to 2 hours. So just that you know, this is very synthesized, it's very overview, but the goal is really to give you enough awareness and the tools that you can start the process on your own. And this is a business planning workshop. So I want to share that, for the most part, many of us, business planning isn't sexy. Looking at the business, tracking the numbers, all this stuff, it's yawn boring. And it's not, what is entrepreneurs and excitement and vision and creation and all the things we as entrepreneurs like to do. The success of business is really dependent on how well we business plan. So if our business isn't performing the way we want it to perform, usually the first place we go is, how are we doing on the plan? Usually we don't have one. So this is one of the biggest mistakes I see new entrepreneurs start with, is they just kind of jump in, getting excited and work off their talent and their energy, and they're never working towards a plan. So again, this business plan is what I want for you to start off 2024, because 2024 for all of us is going to be our best business year yet. All right, I just want to let you know, Brad is going to be in the chat. So wave Brad. So Brad is going to be in the chat. He really listens and puts some ahas, but encourages you to interact. So if it's not too much of a disruption and it doesn't, keep you from paying attention, then feel free to interact, whatever it's going to take to keep you attentive, because adults, for paying attention for 2 hours is very difficult. So so Brad's in there to try to keep us all like engaged and interactive. So be interactive. It can keep you from, kind of disappearing into some la la land. Most successful entrepreneurs that I know are ADD. We have some form of ADD. So focusing for a long period of time is difficult. So that's why we're going to interact. Clayton's in the house. He's on the Wealthy Team. You can wave Clayton, and Clayton's here. I might be talking to Clayton. I'm going to be going in and out of screens. He's our tech genius. And so you're probably going to say Clayton, you'll hear me say Clayton, save me. What do I do next? Because I'm going to get stuck trying to share screens and go through lots of pages and probably get lost. And I don't know if Catherine's here or not. And then I see Macy here. So yeah, let us know what you need from us as we go along. All right. While I do that, I think that was all the housekeeping. So I'm going to see, and I'm going to ask for you guys to bear with me because like I said, I'm going to be going in and out of screens. So there might be some delay as I figure this out between two screens and sharing screen and PowerPoint and going to spreadsheets, so on and so forth. So just, if you don't mind, give me a little grace as I do this. All right, so I'm going to share my screen here. All right, Brad, do we look good?
Yep.
Okay. All right, welcome to Wise Money Business Planning. For those of you that have been following me for a while, I see a lot of you are Curbs students. We have some Curbs alum and some Curbs for Business. I'll share with you that are new a little bit about Curbs, but either any of you that are in Curbs or Curbs for Business, somewhere along the line, if you'll just say, yeah, I'm a Curbs student, I'm a Curbs for Business student, or I'm alum, maybe put that in the chat box and just do something, say something nice about Curbs or Curbs for Business so that others that are maybe new, that's never heard of what Curbs is, that they get it from you and not from me, because I'm not going to be talking too much about that today. But Wise Money is underneath the brand of Wealthy Wealthy, and Wealthy Wealthy is my master brand. And then Wise Money is the business and money portion, the education portion of the Wealthy Wealthy trademark. And as you can see, I'm Krisstina Wise, and so it's a play on my name. And again, for those of you that don't know me, I've been in business and I've been an entrepreneur in business for over 25 years now. And I've started and owned several, I've started and owned, I don't know, probably 15, 20 different businesses over this 25, 30-year career. And there's been probably half a dozen of them that have been very successful. They've been 7-figure businesses. I've had a nice exit from one of them. I've started a lot of businesses. I still have half a dozen businesses, but most of them are more on the passive side. And I've studied for over a decade just business. I was in a 10-year business discourse and educational group. It was called the Aji Network. And so I spent a decade really studying business in a very rigorous program. As you know, I've been studying money for most of my career. So at this stage, from a personal finance standpoint, I can say I'm pretty much financially free from a personal wealth standpoint. From a business standpoint, though, I'm still in business. I own Wealthy Wealthy. I run it. We work to grow it, all the things. So I'm still in business and working to practice all the business things that I've learned. And now also just based on my stage of career and basically my age, and let's say that some successes, and out of all those probably 20 businesses, there's, as you can count, there's been numerous failures as well, or they just didn't go anywhere. So lots of history here and a lot of experience. But today I'm really now through Wealthy Wealthy and Wise Money, I'm just working to be an educator, to teach entrepreneurs and business owners to how to build wealth and how to build a successful business that's a part of building wealth, and teaching the fundamentals. I teach the non-sexy, non-shiny object parts of business and money that people don't usually get too excited about. But what I believe is what separates those successful business owners and those that are wealthy from everybody else is because we get into the dirty stuff that isn't as pretty. But that's really what business is and life is. It's a little messy. So we have to get in there and embrace the messy. All right. So today, again, we're going to talk about business planning. And as you can see, what's underlined there is ING. So everything I talk about is really in the mindset of being actors of our own life, that we're what I say, like, we're not money. It's not about money. It's about money in, like, how do we move our money, manage our money, think about our money, our relationship with our money, but how do we act with our money? business planning. It's not just about having a planning or having a plan or setting goals. It's about planning, like always being thinking and creating and setting goals and targets and measuring outcomes and so on and so forth. So again, we're just going to get into the rigor of the what it takes to be an actor in life and an actor in our business that produces, we as the actor being the cause that produces the results that we want in life and in business and financially. All right, so start us off. What I believe to be true is that there are these 3 life concerns, meaning these are concerns we can't opt out of. There are parts of life that if we, as we become adults, we have to start taking care of. And how well we play them, or really is how well we play them is indicative of how good our life is. And if we don't play these 3 concerns consciously, they play us. And they play us, meaning we keep bumping up against breakdowns. We're not making enough money. We're not having the right relationships. And we have health concerns. So what we need to do when we're starting off in business planning is to understand that our goal here isn't money. Our goal here isn't to have this uber successful business. The having the money and having the successful business, which is part of having the money, is for the sake of something else. It's for the sake of being able to live a good life. Ultimately, that's what we want. We want to live a good life. And financially speaking, we're after this thing called financial freedom, because financial freedom gives us time back that allows us to enjoy our life more. It gives us more choices or options that just makes life a little bit easier in most cases. So when we're looking at a good life, is to know that that's what this journey is all about, is to be in this journey of life. And again, we're the creators and the actors of life, and our job is to build this thing that's good, so that we wake up most days fulfilled, and we have what it takes to get through the ups and the downs, and life is messy, and there's all sorts of shit show that happens in the process. So half the time we just have to embrace the shit show and just really be in this journey called life, with our desire to make it as good as possible. So as we know, I'm going to go through these 3 pretty quick, but I always like to start here just as this reminder before we jump into business and money, to understand the why, for the sake of why. So when it comes to money, we have to, money and health, in business and health, let's say, is that one of life's concerns is our health, is our wellness. And when we don't have our health, all the money in the world doesn't matter. And so it's just really important to know that for the sake of why we're in our businesses and working hard and churning and grinding and putting up and going through the difficulty of being a business owner, it's for the sake of what? If we destroy our health trying to build this business like I did, and then have this health crisis, when I had my health crisis, what happened to my business? My business started breaking apart so fast, it wasn't even funny. So it's our job as business owners is not to use and abuse our health for the sake of trying to build the business. It's to build our business in a way that doesn't destroy our health, but ultimately produces enough money that we can reinvest into our health in ways that bring a lot of fulfillment or joy or just energy or vitality or whatever that makes us feel great, because we want to feel great. The greater that we feel, the more that we can enjoy life. And so as we're building our business, I just like to know, like, this part of our business and business planning is to have the money that we can invest in things like mental wellness, maybe vacations and getting away, relational wellness, going away with your partner, invest back in our body. There's so many new tools and technologies that we can, when we have the money, we can reinvest in our health to just feel better, anti-aging, and it's not inexpensive. So again, it's just remember, for the sake of why is to have the money to invest and spend on our health and wellness and vitality. And that makes life better. The second life concern that we can't opt out of is relationships. If we're in toxic relationships, business, personal, life isn't too great. or if we're all alone and by ourselves all the time. I know a lot of people experience that, especially during COVID. So many of us, if not most of us, know what that feels like at some level. But if we have all the money in the world, or if we have $1 billion business and nobody likes us, everybody hates us, or if we're alone on an island, again, the business doesn't matter, the money doesn't matter. So again, the reason why we're building our businesses is when we're building business, it comes at the cost of family. It comes at the cost of relationships. There is a trade-off. But when we're all focused on the money all the time, thinking more money ultimately will buy more happiness, or bigger business will be more fame or something, we just have to know, usually the bigger the business, in many cases, the more sacrifice and trade-offs are. There's a lot more trade-off at a company that's $1 billion company, which versus one that's maybe $1 million company. So we just want to factor in that the reason why we're building our businesses and creating our wealth is to be able to spend money on our relationships. So many of us, we're cranking and grinding on the business all the time that we forget what it's for, or we find maybe so much fulfillment in there, but the home life may be a disaster that creates a lot of what I'd say that's not a good life. So it's just the reminder that, more money, the more we can spend on relationships in a way. An example that I like to use here, what's important to me now, my kids are young adults and everybody's across the country now. And I really miss my kids. Don't have grandkids yet. I've let them know I'm not ready yet. Not about them, it's about me being ready. But when they have kids, especially, what's important to me is the family piece. And even though I'm in business and they're busy, I want the resources to be able to pay for all the kids and grandkids to come to Park City, or we all go somewhere together, as an example, to make sure that I get to spend time with them and to be able to really enjoy those relationships, especially at my age now that halfway through life, I guess, that without divulging my age too much, but halfway through life, that it's really important to me to really experience this. And so having the resources to be able to spend on the relationships for me is part of my good life, as an example. But when we're struggling, or we're just grinding and hustling all the time, usually it's about the grind, the hustle, the money, and we forget that it's ultimately about the relationships and experiences. And then the third category of life is money. That to be struggling month to month, to not have any type of passive income, where our business is not making a profit, where our money is just very volatile and crazy. Money can affect relationships, meaning the number was 1 or 2 on cause of divorce is finances. It can affect our health when we don't have the money. We can be stressed out all the time, and that month-to-month cycle. Usually we're spending money on things like to make us look better to something out there, as opposed to remembering what money's really for and how to build it and grow it. So all of that to say that part of a good life that we're after is to have the money that underwrites the cost of living a good life, which includes lots of health, wellness, and vitality, or having the resources that when we do get sick or that type of thing, that we can invest in ourselves to get well. And that we have the money to have great relationships and to be able to experience and have time to experience those relationships. But that's why the money, and that's why the business, and the business as business owners and entrepreneurs is what we're doing to make money versus going to a corporate job, for example. All right, so those are the 3 life concerns, and everything that we're going to talk about today is for the sake of having the resources to be able to live a good life that fits into these 3 buckets. All right, so now we're going to get off the little bit of that soapbox now. So now let's really get into today. And today's a lot of time when we're thinking business planning, we're thinking of goal setting. And today what I'm talking about, it's not goal setting. And I'm going to be talking about the difference between goal setting and planning. But right here, I'm going to start with, we do need to set goals, because goals is a future destination we're moving towards. And so goals are important, but it just doesn't stop at goals. But goals have a sequence. So the way that I teach this, if you look down in the bottom right-hand corner, it says a 100-year life design. And this is kind of the idea that it's our job to design our lives. I call it lifestyle architecture, but versus drifting and just kind of going through where life takes us and bumping into whatever we bump into. To change that, if we're just kind of Groundhog Day running into the next set of problems, it's just a different version of the same problem over and over and over again. The way to change that is to start getting ahead of everything. And that's by projecting into the future, what we call our future self. But it starts with designing a good life, like it's designing our life. And I call it the 3 ambitions. And if you have the wrong order of these, there's a sequence here. If you design these in the wrong order, you're probably not going to have enough. But the first one, the 3 ambitions, and ambition means you're going after something. Ambition, we get the word ambitious, means we have energy, ambition. We're moving towards the future. Something in the future is important to us, and that creates the passion. So we're passionate when we're excited about the now, and we're equally excited or more excited about what we're moving to in the future. So that's where that passion comes from. And without passion or some form of passion, it's really hard to grow and build a successful business, or at least sustain it. So that's where ambition comes from. And that's why I use not the word goal, but I replace that with ambition. It's bigger. Again, it's in the context of a whole life versus just a goal in one thing. And the first step is to have what we call a lifestyle ambition. And that starts with, and so here's where your work is starting right now, if you're taking notes. As we're moving into the next couple of hours, but as we're moving into 2024, the work that you start with is to really spend this quiet time and ask yourself, what is a good life? Put in the chat box, have you done this type of work? Have you really had a blank slate where you look at your life and design it and say, what is a good life? What is a good life? And followed up by how much does it cost to live it? So this is the type of work we do in Curbs, which is my personal finance program, my money school. But this is where it starts, is to really identify what is a good life and how much does it cost to live it. And again, this is holistic. This is money and business holistically in our whole life. When we're working on a business plan just in a vacuum, it's not integrated with our life, again, it just gets off track and it's not as fulfilling. So step 2 then is create what we have is called a financial ambition. And a financial ambition asks these 2 questions. How much income do I require to live a good life today? And how much net worth do I need to create to be able to have the financial freedom for tomorrow? And that's your financial ambition, meaning you know these 2 numbers so that when we're working in our business and we're working to create and manage our money, we know how much money is enough. We know what we're working towards. We have complete clarity. It's not confusion. It's not vague. When we have these set pillars, or these set targets we're moving towards, we need clarity. So as the designers and creators and actors in our own life, but at this point, the creators of our life, we need our personal ambition, that lifestyle ambition. What is a good life? Living it day to day. And then 2, how much does it cost to live it? And ultimately, do I want to be financially free? And how am I going to make that happen? So that's our financial ambition. It needs complete clarity. All these need clarity, which means we need to take the time to invent them and to create them. Then step 3 is working on the business ambition. And that's where we ask ourselves the question, how big of a business do I need? Can I hit my financial goals if I have a $500,000 business, a $250,000 business? Do I need a 7-figure business like everybody else is talking about that I need? Do I want a $5 million business, a $10 million business? Do I want a $100 million business? Do I want to be Hormozi and have a $1 billion business? That's his ambition. If you listen to Alex Hormozi, he's just talking about, my business, I've made 100 million now, and my ambition is to be a billionaire. So he wants to, that's that business ambition. That's based on a lot of financial ambition and what's important to him in his life. So that's the business ambition. What size business do you need? Again, and you don't just guess at this. You don't just pull it out of a hat. This is created, and that's what we're going to start doing today. how much profit's required to be able to earn enough to be able to live my good life for 100 years and to be able to create financial freedom, which all of these numbers we need to create. So none of this is vague. So everything we're moving towards has a map, an intention, a goal, and a target. All right. This is what I call the wise money model. And the wise money model is what I call a 3-part financial system for creating financial freedom. So in all of that we're doing, kind of underneath this, as we're working to live a good life, you know, to create, to invent, design, and create, and work towards building and living inside this good life in different stages and iterations, and hopefully growth along the way, enjoying the process, is to know underneath that from a financial and philosophical place, we're all like yearning for something called financial freedom. And financial freedom, again, is a destination. It's something that's created. And if you don't put in your goals that you're after financial freedom, it's very unlikely that you'll ever get there. And so this is the Curbs methodology for how to create financial freedom in a 50,000-foot view. And there's these 3 parts. So as we're in this business and financial game, and I'm teaching money, I'm not teaching relationships, and I'm not teaching health here. We'll let other experts teach those 2 buckets. But when I'm the educator and teacher here, and thank you for giving me that authority as the money teacher, then money speaking in the money bucket, there's these 3 parts of money. And it's really important that we understand this because they're all integrated. So the first one is business, and this is the business's container of money. I'm going to talk a little bit about this later, but basically the gist is as if everyone here, I'm assuming you're a business owner, an entrepreneur, or a wannabe business owner or entrepreneur. What that means is there's business and business as a container of money. So what we have to do if we're going to be successful in business and make enough money in our business, we have to understand how business flows, how money flows through our business. We have to understand how much money is enough in our business, which is that business ambition. And we have to manage our money really well. But ultimately, when we're looking at just the financial piece, in the circle, it says revenue minus cost of sales equals gross profit minus business expenses equals profit. So in the blue there, it says profit. I know the slide might be a little hard to read, but in the business, it says profit. And that profit is how much you pay yourself at the end of the day. So that's the money you take home. So if your business makes $1 million of revenue, and you have a 10% profit margin, meaning you make 10% profit, that's $100,000. Or you could have a $500,000 company and make 20% and make the same amount of money. So the idea here is that we build businesses to be profitable. Now there's something called enterprise value. Again, I'm going to share a little bit more about this later. But enterprise value is what we're after as business owners. We get stuck in this place to think, oh, we just always need to be growing the business. My job as a business owner is to grow, scale, bigger. And that's not the job of a business owner or the business. Our job as a business owner is to create what's called enterprise value. And that means how sustainably profitable it is. So a business has more enterprise value, the more the income of the revenue and the profit is sustainable, meaning that it's not variable, it's not volatile, it's very predictable. And the more the predictability it is, and the higher the money is associated predictability, gives it more value. So ultimately, that's what we're working to do in our business plans, is we're working to create more enterprise value, create a business that is producing the profit that we need, that's sustainable, and that if it does grow, that it's growing after sustainability. So we move that profit then over to our household. We move the money out of our business into our household, and then we're managing our money in our household. So this is the second container of money, and this is what we do in Curbs. We understand how to cash flow our money and how to build wealth with our money by how we spend it in our household and how we manage it, our relationship to it. And ultimately to create a profit in our household and to move a portion of that money into the third category over there, which is our investment bucket. That means that's where our money starts to, we put our money to work, and our money is creating money for us as kind of a separate business. So we learn to manage that money as well. So this is the three-part financial system that it's knowing when we're creating that business plan, it's not created in a vacuum. It's attached to our household, which is that middle bucket. That means how much money do we need to earn to be able to make sure we have enough money in our household to pay all the bills, that where there's not a lot of compromise and it's equal to our good life, as well as having money to invest so that we have money for our future self tomorrow. So again, I'm not going to get into this any more than here, but I just want to show you how these three life concerns, health, wealth, and relationships, are all interrelated and connected, and how money in these three categories, how we flow money and manage money and our relationship with money, are all connected. Our business doesn't exist in a vacuum. When we know that our business is connected to our household and vice versa, and this is set around different goals and targets according to that lifestyle and that financial and business ambitions, you see this kind of these rule of threes, how all of these relate. All right. So we're going to start with step one, which is called lifestyle ambition. And you guys I know you want me to get straight to the business planning, but I can't emphasize enough that business planning that's disconnected from your personal life doesn't have a lot of fulfillment attached to it. Like it's just business for the sake of business. So especially as lifestyle entrepreneurs, which means we're kind of the main character in our business, if you will, it's to understand that our business and our household are very much connected. We're not building this third-party business that's going to be, sold on Wall Street through stocks, and then we just manage the thing. And we're just building a different type of enterprise value to raise the price of stocks, so to speak. For those as small business entrepreneurs, we kind of are our business, or at least it's like another child. It's part of the family. And as part of the family, it's to understand that it's so connected to our personal life that we want the business to make sure that it's aligned and integrated with our personal life, that it's not coming at the cost of our personal life. So our lifestyle ambition is our personal life. That's what I said. It's asking myself, what is a good life? And to start your business planning, to start your life planning for 2024, it starts here. And I have a method that I call the 7 F words. And the 7 F words is it's all your personal life, but these are the parts of life that make life good if we're taking care of these. So it's faith, family, feelings, fun, flourish, philanthropy, and finances. I'm going to go through these one by one. And not spend a lot of time, but again, and so that I have a workbook, and the workbook, if you stay to the end, it's just that, a workbook or a guide where each one of these categories is going to ask you to grade yourself on a grade from 1 to 5, 1 being you're not doing very well in this category, and 5 meaning you're acing it, but you grade yourself. Like in the category of faith, then how am I doing? And then based on that, you then write your goals for faith and for next year, and and you put that in your workbook. And there's even a place to underwrite the cost of that. Yes. So faith for me, for example, make sure everybody's on mute. Faith for me, for example, is just having time to meditate. It's having time to walk out in nature. It's having time just to connect to the universe and to Mother You, and to just having that connection. And so when I'm looking at how I did, like in 2023, I graded myself when I'm doing this work. And it was like, hey, I put myself like a 3+ on this, but I know the more I'm connected to God, the universe, that I just feel better. I'm more successful. I'm more aligned when I'm out in nature versus behind my deck all the time. I find myself just happier. So it's kind of funny when I know that about myself. It's like, why do I then spend so much time in front of my computer and have all these business reasons why I can't meditate or get out in nature that day? I mean, it's silly how this happens, because I know it'll make me feel better, but my business seems to take a priority versus this piece. But it's just whatever the faith is and how important that is to you. But it's that connection. It's the kindness. It's the getting outside of ourselves. And to me, like I said, meditation is super important part of that, because that's where things drop. It's where I get a perspective. I'm out of the busyness. I'm out of that, a lot of times, just that productive energy. And the more that I can start my days this way, ultimately, the more successful I know I'll be. The second F is family and friends. And again, we don't have to talk much about this, but this would be, again, you would grade yourself. How did you do in 2023? And relative to that, what would you want to change in 2024? And to write this down. So again, if you stay at the end, you'll get the workbook, so you don't need to do this here. But write this down, or just write down something like, how would you grade yourself with family and friends? Like, how much quality time did you spend with family in 2023? How much quality time did you spend with friends? That means that's an important part to you. Where did your business and money get in the way of that ultimately got in the way of you maybe scoring yourself a 5 if you didn't get a 5? So yeah, just grade yourself. Family and friends, how'd you do? Family and friends, my grade for last year wasn't great. It wasn't bad, but I wanted to, if I grade myself on a 3.5, let's say, for last year, I looked at that and I said, all right, I think I'd be much more fulfilled with more family time and more friend time. And so that was part of the 2024 goals then, was to, talk about how do we get all the kids out here for Christmas? And I want to start doing dinner parties again with friends. And so setting that up already and setting that goal, I already have a little Christmas little thing put together that's kind of still 2023. But that was part of the fulfillment of like, okay, my place isn't done yet because it's just a big remodel mess. So I have all these excuses to not get together with friends. And it's like, nope, gonna set the party, get over, whatever I need to get over, and start putting my friend network together. That hasn't really happened since leaving Austin. So, because why? Not just for goal's sake, but because, having my friends and girlfriends is really important to me. So I need to take action on that versus just talking about it. All right, this is a big one, feels. It's all sorts of feelings, but it's how we feel overall. And there's our mental feeling, like how are we doing mentally? There's how are we doing emotionally? How are we doing physically? And how are we doing relationally? But so it's a big category. Again, but let's just look at the physical and emotional piece. And how was overall feelings in 2023? For me in 2023, I had some big health stuff. I entered 2023 with some pretty significant health issues that were getting worse. 2022 was really bad. And, so part of 2022 doing this work and looking in 2023, I was like, you know what? I'm going to devote my money and time to really focus on my health and fix these problems that are going on, because they're chronically getting worse. They're not getting better, and I can't ignore it anymore. And so in 2023, I made a big financial investment, probably in the tune of $30,000, all said, kind of all in type of thing. But it was to feel better, because I just kept pushing through. I've kind of got this mind over matter. People wouldn't even known I was sick because I just keep going, but my body is really suffering. But that was part of 2023. So part of 2023 on the physical side, I actually graded myself pretty good, because I was really proud of myself. I changed a lot with my diet. I did my supplements and peptides and saw doctors and got my lab work on time and like all the things. It was kind of it was pricey, but two, it was kind of a pain in the ass many times. But it's like, no, that was a commitment there. And then again, for 2024, it's looking at what else to do to feel better. And then again, how much is that going to cost as far as overall feeling? And so 2024 are my goals. There's a big investment for continuing to invest in me. And kind of identifying what that is and putting a budget to that. So grade yourself, just write that down in the chat, or if you want to, engage in the chat or write it down on a piece of paper. How would you grade yourself today? And then you'll use that relative to what you want to change next year. Fun. So fun, I put an African safari on here because this is on my bucket list. It's been on there for so many years, and every year I have an excuse not to do it. But why? Because for me, this would be really fun. It's something I really want to do. And it just seems like I have the excuses, too much time, too much money, too much something, to do it. But as an example. But when I looked at 2023 fun, yeah, there was some fun stuff, but I really realized I'm lacking in the fun department, that there's the little things, but there hasn't been, 2023, there's a lot of practical stuff, moving and remodeling and I mean, business and all the stuff, which again, if you listen to me, those are all excuses. Like I had all these excuses. So for me, I would have graded myself probably like a 2.5 on fun. Still had some fun. I mean, it wasn't a 0. But on 2024, it's like, no, fun has to be in here. Kind of over all the hard work and all the physical stuff now. Let's get back to fun. And then part of my goals is to, like, what are some of those fun activities and to commit to those. All right, philanthropy. Yes, I know philanthropy starts with a PH, but we call philanthropy here with an F since it sounds like it, philanthropy. But really, it's just, this is our giving back. It's our, whatever part of giving back. Many times these days, philanthropy is just little acts of kindness, being nice to somebody in traffic, letting them in, being nice at the grocery store, being pleasant, saying nice things, introducing yourself, wishing people good morning, waving at them as they drive by. It could be the littlest things, but again, it's just this outward expression of gratitude and thankfulness that comes out that we put onto others in a positive way. It's so easy for us to be so critical and to complain and be pissed off and in a hurry. And the opposite of being just a philanthropic energy and mood. And the biggest thing here is grateful. I mean, we hear it all the time. So to me, philanthropy starts there. It's how we navigate through life and what energy in a philanthropic, generous, kind, complimentive type energy and way of being, or one that's kind of the opposite of that. And it's really important, if we want to create success, that energy, we want to create success in life and business, financially, that energy is really important, is that positive high frequency energy. So just fundamentally, that's what I mean by philanthropy. Then any type of giving as far as time and money outside of that is, always a personal preference. But to me, it's less about obligation, but out of this desire. And to me, just being happier, more kind and generous in all different ways can go a long way. Since I don't know, it seems like there's so much to complain about these days, or, get all worked up over. All right, this one here is flourish. And flourish means to grow. One of my favorite quotes is, we're either becoming or just becoming old. And you see so many people as they age, they quit learning, they get stuck in their ways and status quo, and that's like as good as it gets. So to me, not that there's anything wrong with that, but to flourish, this is part of good life, to constantly be curious, to be growing, to be in childlike spirit, wonder, what can I do next? What can I learn? What excites me? And to always keep that going. And, for me, I always score myself pretty high here, because naturally I love learning. Like I'm always listening to a podcast or picking up a book or getting in a mastermind or doing something, because I always want to be learning. For me, it excites me personally, but also I know that's just such a big part of growth, of success is growth. We're either growing or we're dying, we're atrophying. So which one is it? There's nothing, nothing stands still. So flourish is how would you grade yourself as far as your personal and professional development? relational development, learn more about health and wellness, whatever the case is. How would you grade yourself? And again, what would you do for next year as far as your goals? And the final one is finances. I can't, of course, this is my niche is finances. So maybe that's why I think it's the most important one. But finances matter. Money matters. The health of our finances matter. It's so attached to quality of life and how we can enjoy life that if we're honest, I'd say a good portion of our problems, or not necessarily problems, but our portion of feeling stressed and anxious and kind of those negative feelings is because the money's just not there, but we're working really hard and it's just not working out despite the hard work. And so hopefully what I'm going to share with today is going to help us solve this bucket a little bit, but it's just to understand that grade yourself. How'd you do on your overall money in 2023? And personally, how do you want to see money change in 2024? All right, that's the 7 F words. This is all part of that lifestyle ambition. And again, it starts here. Use the 7 F words, the workbook that we'll send you, as an exercise. It's going to be part of your goal planning and your lifestyle planning, your goal setting and lifestyle planning, is to look at it in these 7 F words. All right, step 2, financial ambition. I'm not going to go into this much here. Again, this is your financial ambition. This is for you, for your family, for your household. We're not talking business. And that this is aligned with that last F word is finances. So that finances is attached to the step 2 is to design and build out your financial ambition. And what is your financial ambition? And remember, it's around 2 things: is how much does it cost to live my good life today? And then 2, how much net worth do I need to be able to be financially free tomorrow? And again, there's nothing vague in this. This needs to be clear. This is what we do in Curbs, is to get complete clarity on our money and our financial ambitions so that we can change how we think and believe and operate with money so that it can get us off this month to month and get us into financial growth and stability. So here you can take a picture of the screen. I'm not going to go into it, but this is part of the exercise for how much does it cost to live your good life, which is your financial ambition. And these are the 6 steps. Is you calculate first how much it costs to live your lifestyle. Second, you calculate how much is enough for financial freedom. And you'll see there, if you take a picture, if it cost us $250,000 to live our life, in part 2, we multiply that by 20. That means we need a net worth of $5 million. Step 3, you calculate your freedom gap, which means if you have $1 million net worth and your goal is $5 million, you have a $4 million net worth gap. Step 4 is you'll determine your annual investment that you need to bridge that gap. So if you need $4 million in 20 years at 10%, you have to invest $75K a year as kind of a baseline. Step 5 is you determine your household income target, meaning you take that $250, which is the cost of your lifestyle, let's say after taxes, plus how much you need to invest, which means you need to earn $325,000 after taxes per year. Then you determine your business revenue target, which is step 6, which means you take that 325 divided by whatever your profit margin is. And that, in this case, if you want to make $325,000, you have a 30% profit margin, you need a $1.1 million business. So take a picture of this, do this exercise. If you stay to the end, gift number 1 is your 7 F words workbooklet. Gift number 2 is a worksheet that will walk you through this entire exercise, where you just answer the questions and fill in the blanks. And again, this is all connected. None of this is disconnected. None of these things exist in a vacuum. I'd say the way I teach money and teach planning, teach this, I don't know too many people that teach this in a holistic type connected way, where we're not just talking about business and investment. Business is in a vacuum, or investing in a vacuum. Again, everything here is integrated. And this is about the whole of your life, which is the whole of the good life that you're designing and building and enjoying along the way. So anyway, 7F word guides then goes and connects to this exercise. And everything I'm teaching you is exactly what I do. I invented these things over the last, I don't know, 10, 15 years, as I was just piece by piece trying to integrate all this more and more, because everything I learned was disintegrated, was kind of all over the place. And again, this is the system I've created for myself to make sure that we've got everything organized and planned in a way to make sure that everything is integrated and connected. All right, so that would be gift number 2. Step number 3, this is what we're going to talk about today, business ambition. And business ambition is just that. What is the ambition of your business? If we go back to this slide, in this case, after doing all the work, doing the 7F words, determining to have a good life, to be able to take care of all the 7F words, it's going to be $250,000 a year. To be able to create financial freedom, we need net worth of $5 million. To create that financial freedom for the next 20 years, we need to invest $75,000 a year. And that means that we need to bring in $325,000 a year. And that means we need a business ambition of $1.1 million. And so that's the ambition. That's what we're working towards. And it's not 500,000. It's not 10 million. It's this, and this becomes a baseline. If you blow it out and you build a $5 million company, good for you. Like, that's great. But it's to understand we can go in having a very clear target. This is the business financial ambition. And then as business owners, we ask ourselves, what does it take to build a $1.1 million revenue company that has a 30% profit margin? As a business owner, that's the business problem at the end of the day that I'm going to be solving. And that's my goal, is to build that business, because I know that size of business is going to provide the financial resources that's going to allow me to live my good life today and my financial freedom goal for my future self for tomorrow. So that's why step 3 is now the business ambition. We know what size and how much money the business needs to make to be able to make sure it can take care of us financially. So here's the thing. Business, even when we're solopreneurs or we're, like I said, lifestyle entrepreneurs, is to understand that the idea is that we are not the machine, that we're not the machine in the business that's doing everything. And that's what's hard about business, to get out of kind of where we left maybe a company, or we were doing something kind of as a sole proprietor. That's a recipe for being burnt out. The goal with business as business owners is we own this thing called a business, and the business is a machine. We're building a machine. That's the idea. So it's just to know that's our job, is to build this thing called a machine. Now, what's so hard is we're usually the main actor in the business, and we're trying to build the machine at the same time. And that's why we need a business plan. And that's what you're going to understand. So, but to create the profit you need to fulfill on your personal and financial ambitions, you have to have this machine. And this machine, you know what your fundamental offer is. You design and execute strategies. You build capital and capital structures. You manage the money of the business wisely, prudently, intentionally. You focus on sales and planning and operations. You track profitability and manage the finances. You build trust and a really good reputation. So these are the things we're doing as business owners over time, outside of just, slinging whatever we're slinging in the business is kind of one of the main actors. So the idea is that most entrepreneurs own a job. They don't own a business. And that's what we want to do, is we want to own this thing called business, creating this thing called enterprise value, which means sustainable profit. That means it's predictable. We're off this volatile, thing that goes up and down. And it doesn't happen by accident. It doesn't happen by a great idea. It doesn't happen by being great at sales or great at marketing. It happens by building a really good machine. And to understand this machine, it's like raising a child. This business is like raising a child. It needs time and attention. It needs patience. It needs values and rules and time off sometimes. But again, the big takeaway here is that as part of our business planning, what we're doing is to plan. The planning is organized around building this business, which is meant to be a machine. All right, so I'm gonna look at the time here. All right, so we've been an hour in, that's good timing. All right, so business planning versus goal setting. This is an important distinction. Most businesses don't fail from a lack of vision. They fail for a lack of a plan. And a vision means we're good at visioning for entrepreneurs. We get so excited about creating big futures. January 1, we're like, I'm going to grow my business by 22%. It's going to be my best financial year ever. We get so excited, and we're really great at setting goals for the most part. Like, that's exciting. You can't be an entrepreneur and not be a goal setter. That's what we do. But it's to understand, but that's usually where it stops. And goal setting is one piece of planning, but goal setting is not the plan. And again, just to look at this is businesses don't fail for lack of goal setting. Businesses fail for a lack of a plan. So again, kudos for being here to sign on to this, 2 hours of something that sounds, very unsexy called a business plan. But this is what's going to differentiate you from maybe previous years and get you on track to really build this machine that's going to create the sustainable profit that you use to pay yourselves. So the thing with goals tend to be glossy and vague. Like I said, we want a 22% increase in revenue. Goals are disconnected from execution. It's wishful thinking. It's the what we're after. Goals ignore reality. They're not looking at, hey, this is where we are today. How likely is it that we can do a 22% increase? We've never done it before. Why? What makes us think we're going to do it this year? So goals, they just focus on kind of the symptoms that I'm going to talk more about this as we get into the business plan versus the real problems of the business. And again, it's a lot of great ideas. It's missing the how. It's missing the calendar. It's missing priorities. And again, like it's just focused on these symptoms and not the fundamental problems that we need to solve. A plan, on the other hand, is a thing. A plan is the how. One of my mentors, his name is Keith Cunningham. He's retired this year, and he calls it the yellow brick road. And the plan is the yellow brick road. It's the how you're going to get to the land of Oz. And we're good at saying, hey, I want to go to the land of Oz. It's so beautiful there. And, there's lots of money and abundance and excitement and all the things. But so we set that, but we don't create the yellow brick road to get there. So that's what a plan is. A plan becomes your yellow brick road. And you plan every single brick that's going to be in that road. The yellow brick road, what that is it identifies the chronic problems that you have in your business that's keeping you from hitting your goals. So as opposed to goals, which are that destination, your yellow brick road is, hey, here's all the problems of my business, that these are the reasons why we're not hitting those goals. And determining these problems isn't easy because we're usually confusing symptoms and problems, again, that I'm going to talk about. And plans, they're setting the plan, building the plan, going into 2024 with the plan. But then it's also, as business owners, to know that plan then becomes planning, where we're in that plan all the time and adjusting, because we're looking at dashboards. We have our key KPIs, our key performance indicators. We have accountability and execution on the initiatives that we have determined will fix our problems. So you'll see that a plan is the how, the goal is the what we're after. And very unlikely we're going to achieve our goals without the plan to get there. And the key takeaway here is that we're going into a business plan. We're looking at the problems of the business, and then everything we're doing in 2024 is what we're doing to fix those problems. And then if we're correct, if we identified the right problems by fixing those, we're going to make more money in the business. All right, everyone just take a drink of water. It's been kind of right at an hour now. I'll do that myself. I'll do this teaching for 2 or 3 hours. I won't take a sip of water. All right, everybody just like take a stretch, maybe stand up. Take a deep breath. Little jumping jacks. All right, so we're good to go. All right, so now I'm going to go through this process for 30 minutes. Again, I'm going to go fairly fast. I'm going to see if I can get in and out of some spreadsheets. If not, I'll do the spreadsheets after the 90 minutes, but I want to get through this process. And this is what I call future selfing. And this is, again, selfing. So what we're doing here is we're talking about goal setting, we're talking about business planning, but it's really about the way I want you to think about it, and not even think about it, the way I want you to feel about it is I want you to put your mind and be looking at, we're all together at the same time next year. It's 2024, right? So we're in December of 2024. And to put yourself in that place, like, wow, I'm a year older, the business is a year older, but this is a future self. This is where I am, and this is how I feel. And so we want to put ourselves in that place. And if, right now we're doing annual planning, but you can do this, for any time frame, but that's it. So that's it. What we're doing is we're putting ourselves in the same place as we are now, 12 months from now, and looking after the future self. Like, how is she doing? How is she feeling? What were the accomplishments? What were the failures? What was she proud of? But what is the report? So if I, for a year from now, and I say, give me a report on how 2024 was, this is what you'd be spewing out. And this is, we need to create. One of my other mentors, her name is Mary Morrissey. And if you've heard me speak before, you've heard me say this, but she says, everything's created twice. And I didn't know what she meant by that at first, but then it's like, oh, meaning we invent the future that we want in our head and our hearts first, and then we go about making it real. So that's what we want to do here. We want to put ourselves in 2024, December of 2024, as a future self, kind of pretending that the whole year is already gone. And we want to create it in our heads and our hearts first. And then 2024, we'll go about creating that in reality. So everything's created twice. All right, so future selfing. Here's the process. And this is a process that I've created kind of, again, over the years, going through a lot of goal setting and business planning events, going to lots of retreats, going to personal things and business things separately, and ultimately kind of synthesized it down. And this is how I do it. All right, so the first kind of step here in future selfing is you guys are here, and this, again, congrats for being here. And this is your rah-rah. This is me getting you excited to go out on the field and do the work. So we're in practice. I'm getting you excited. There's a big game coming up. And again, that's out there. So the first thing I want you to do is to determine a date and a place where you're going to do your lifestyle 7 F words and business planning. And again, this is getting you started so that you know what to do. But the next step is to set the location and get it on the calendar. And I recommend, if you can go somewhere outside of your home, do. It's going to create new energy. It gets you out of the environment, fewer interruptions. Find a space for at least a day to do this work. Now, like I told you, I do this for 3 days. So it's 3 days, but in the workspace means you need your computer, you need your QuickBooks, you need your financials, you need your 7 F words from last year, you need your journal, you need whiteboard, you need flip chart paper, colored pens, pencils, everything, markers. So there's a list of all these things that you want to make sure that you're ready to do this. And you want it to be a very productive environment, but maybe a little inspirational as well. That's why I recommend getting out of your space and create an agenda. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through this just step by step. And then I'm going to share with you the different tools that I use. So I'm going to share with you again, we'll give you this if you stay to the end. I'm going to give you my agenda for the 3 days. And here, I'm going to walk you through that here shortly. But right now, it's just to know that you need not only workplace, a location, but you need an agenda. Number 2, now, when you've got this done, that what's really important as you go into this day or multiple days is to know what mood you want to be in. And I call this set the mood. Usually we catch moods versus setting our moods. And mood means the mood you want to take on is a mood of gratitude, because the part of the exercise is to really focus on gratitude and spend some time reflecting on what we're grateful for. A mood of curiosity and wonder is really important. A mood of excitement and inspiration of what we're going to create for the future, and kind of light in that way, but also a serious mood. Like, this is your life. This is your life that's really important. Nobody cares about you or your life like you do. So to have that serious mood. Now, I also recommend what I'm going to show you through the agenda and show you how this works. All this process is really 2 parts. It's personal, and then it's business. We start with personal for reasons I showed you before, and the personal leads to the business. On the personal side, if you have a life partner, husband, wife, someone, if you can, do this work with them. Do it together. Really set the goals together, set the ambitions, go through the 7 F words together. If you can get your partner to do it. If you do, it changes everything. It just makes it so much more powerful. You're in this together. It gives a different kind of purpose and gravitas to the marriage. It gives the marriage something to strive towards as a couple, as opposed to kind of doing our own things. So at least do the personal piece together. Then the business side, if you guys don't work as in the business together, then you'd do your business side on your own. But again, I can't emphasize enough how important it is to do this with your spouse or partner, if there's any way to do that. It's just a game changer. Plus, it's a lot more fun. So, and if you don't have that, if you can get a friend or get somebody to do this with you also, again, it's nice private work to do on your own, which is great. I've done this on my own many, many, many years. But if you can get a friend or if you have a business partner, you definitely want to do the business side. But someone that works in the same office, or a friend or something, do it together. It'll just make it easier, more enjoyable, and 2 heads are better than 1, just the creativity and that type of thing. All right, the next piece is that you'll look at a reflection of 2023. So this is personal. So once you get yourself set up, once you've set your mood, the first part of the exercise, and this will show on the agenda, is reflection. Before we business plan and life plan for the future, we need to reflect where we are, and that's looking backwards. So just like we were saying, a year from now, that's our future self that will be our present self a year from now. But last year, we were at the same point. Last year, we were future selfing for sitting right here, right now. And if you did this work with me last year, we've done this whole exercise and put all of these ideas and inspirations and goals and planning into place. And here we are at the end of 2024. So it's really important that you reflect on that. How did we do in the 7 F words? Like I said, that's part of the grading. What are we grateful for? What did we succeed at? What did we fail at? What could be better? But really look at life in the rear view mirror, and to reflect on all of that. What celebrations? What did you overcome? What are you proud of? All the different things, but to really do a thorough reflection of 2023 and how'd you do financially? How did the household? Did you fill any buckets? How much better off are you in 2023 over 2022, if that's the case? If something difficult happened, how did you overcome it? And what's going to change moving forward? So that's a reflection exercise. It's really important to start backwards. We start backwards. Then this next step is to really look at your present situation. Where are you? How are things working? How are you feeling right now? What's working right now, what's not working right now, what absolutely positively has to change because you absolutely positively don't want this present situation to be the same from a year from now. But to really acknowledge and be present, to be honest about that present situation, the good as well as the not so good. 5 then is that when we go into that future self projection. So this is where we say we pretend, and again, we're just on personal stuff right now. So setting up all of our, looking at our life personally, financially, all the 7 F words, reflecting on that, what's the present situation, and then do this exercise that says, I'm so happy and grateful now that, again, it's like it's 2024, December 2024, reflecting on the whole year of 2024 and saying, I am so happy and grateful now that I have this much money in the bank, now that my business did this amount of business, now that we went on that amazing vacation, now that my health is improved. I mean, do it with as much specificity and clarity as possible, but to really start now inventing of what you want to report at the end of the year of this year, and to invent it. This is where everything's created twice, to really project into that future and keep going until you can't go anymore. And that's where this can be really helpful if you have somebody to do it with, because you guys can, I don't know, like help each other. Or one person says one thing, it's like, oh, I like that one, I want to add that one too. Then we set our personal goals out of all those exercises using the 7 F words exercises. Then we set up those personal financial goals. And then we set up our business. Then we look at our business reflection of 2023. And then we set our business financial goals. And then we build what's this 2024 business plan. So this is where I'm going to come off the presentation and start to get into some spreadsheets and walk you through this. And you'll see how I do everything I just shared. But ultimately, to get to where we are now, to build a 2024 business plan is what I'm going to be showing you is just what's on this board here. That we have to know our current reality, which is point A. We need to create our vision or destination, which is point B. We're going to identify these business problems, and we're going to build this machine. So again, it's to understand that we're going to build this business plan. Now that you've done all this other work, is to start building this business plan. And the business plan is the yellow brick road. It's the recipe you follow to produce the destination, to produce the goals. It's the yellow brick road identifies the chronic problems, the obstacles in the way that need to be fixed in order to hit those goals and targets of your business. Then you need critical drivers and measurable levers, which are the execution steps to make sure that you fix those problems. So that's what a business plan is. Again, is we set our goals. That's been 1 through 9. And number 10 then is build their business plan. All right. So I'm going to go off screen share here. And I'm going to go into all right. I'm not going to. So this is a copy of the agenda that for the 24, what's called KW in BC annual retreat. So KW, Krisstina Wise, BC's Brad Clark. We're a couple. We did this work together. And Brad could put in there how the experience was for him. I think it's the first time he'd done something like this. But this is the agenda. So again, I'll give you a copy of this agenda if you want, but this is one of the gifts. So you'll see on the agenda, it's very similar to all those steps that I just walked you through. So day 1, review of 2023, starts with the meditation, and then reflection, review 2023's personal future self goals, intentions, and 7 F words. Review the values, commitments, F words, and future self goals from last year. So Brad and I created these last year together, and we reviewed these personally as a couple, individually as a couple, and the relationship. We discussed our 2023 successes, again, personally. Discussed the things we didn't achieve in 23, why and why not. We discussed what we were proud of this last year. What did we learn? Where did we grow? What areas to improve on? So that's all part of this reflection. And this took a long conversation. We wrote everything up on flip charts and whiteboards and really talked through this. And wrote down, like on the flip chart, places, we did a lot of celebration, that thing, but then also these areas to improve. Then it says here, review the Holy Grail spreadsheet. So the Holy Grail spreadsheet, now this is something that I only offer for my Curbs for Business students. This and the True Business Planning thing, because they pay a lot of money for these tools. But I'm going to show you what it looks like, that you can at least get an idea so you can see what we're covering. So Holy Grail spreadsheet, this is a worksheet. How am I doing on time? All right, so this is a worksheet that you go through and to know all of your personal numbers. Remember, everything starts personally. So it's a worksheet that you just fill in these green boxes step by step, and it's a guide worksheet that ultimately says how much is enough based on your current lifestyle. And this worksheet has all these calculations in it that says, hey, my financial freedom gap is 2.6 million, what it costs to live annually, total household income. And again, it's just starting to fill in these numbers so that you have an accurate representation of how you're doing today and what types of goals you want to create for your personal life as well. It goes into, again, your plan, what needs to happen, how much you need to put aside monthly to be able to make sure you hit your sovereignty number. You put that in by doing a calculator. How much do you need to put aside annually? How much do you want to invest in your health? What does your pre-tax income need to be at your tax rate? And then it back ends to say, okay, if you're going to make a $400,000 profit doing all these numbers, you need to bring in $1 million revenue business. So again, we're not guessing by going through these worksheets. It gives you it gives you basically exactly how much money you need to make in your business. And then again, you just go through, says my gap's 2.6 million. I need to invest $60,000 in investments, $10,000 in my health. My current lifestyle burn rate is 150,000. My savings buckets, I need to put this much into savings. That means my gross income needs to be 257,000. After taxes, if my overall tax rate's this, then the household income needs to be 321 taxes, which means that 321,000, which means my taxes would be 64,000. My wealth investments here, my health investments here, and this is how much I'd be putting in my buckets. Again, in Curbs, we do this part in Curbs. You know exactly how much to put in your bucket and how much it costs to live your life. And then we go over here on the right, and it carries a lot of this stuff over. But it just takes us a little bit deeper that says my ideal business profit for what I want to do in 2024 is 241,000. Passive income, this means total household income of 321, which means by filling in all these blanks, this says for me to be on track this year and going into 2024, my business revenue needs to be 603,515. That's for wealthy. So what that's saying, with the money coming in from my investments, with everything, with how much it costs to live my current lifestyle, how much I want my current lifestyle to cost, it's telling me that here needs to be your minimum business goal is $603,000 revenue, which down here then would be $641,000 of profit. So if I make, based on my profit margin, as long as my business can make 603,000 and I'm profitable for 241, I'm going to hit all my personal 7F word goals. I'm going to have all the money to be able to fund all my goals completely on target based on what I said in my all the personal work I did before that. So this is a spreadsheet now that matches the goal setting. So we're not guessing what our business needs to be next year. It's telling us. It doesn't see you need a $3 million business. It says you need a $603,000 business. So now I come over here to this business strategy. And this business strategy says the same thing. My financial sovereignty gap, my ideal business profit needs to be this. My ideal revenue needs to be this. And so it breaks it down. And now this is just this says, okay, the curbs price is 5,000. I need to sell 75 of those. Curbs for business, this is the wealthy, is 10,000. I need 20 of those. This is this. This is this. So these are the different offers of the wealthy business. This is the projected amount of revenue. And you'll see what's so interesting here is now I was able to go see, okay, if I want to generate this right here, ideal business revenue of 603,000. If I want to generate $603,000 of revenue, this is what I need to do. I need to sell 75 of these at 5,000, 20 of these at 10,000, and 50 of these at 570,000. So this was all 2023, for example. So this was looking at that, is looking at, 2024. But this is looking at how to, what I need to sell to be able to hit that number. And then it says, here's different ways to do that. Now I come down again, same things. I sell these things annually. These number of sales is going to equal 603,000. It's saying if I add a new offer and I can charge 15,000 for 15, I can add another 225,000, meaning I could be 828,000 if I want to do that, but I don't have to. And then it's going down, it's saying, here's the number of leads I need to generate to hit the number. Here's the number of sales calls based on my sales calls conversions. Here's the number of sales needed. And it just goes down to say, hey, here's what we had in 2023. This is what we need in 2024 based on our current conditions. And this is the number of sales calls I need to be able to hit my sales targets. So these spreadsheets are really helpful because all you do is fill in the green and the calculator pulls everything from the other sheets to make sure we're creating this business plan that tells us exactly how much we need. And it says, again, cells in yellow to be transferred to your business strategy spreadsheet that I'll show here in a second. But the point that I want you to take from this is that your personal life and business life need to be integrated. And when you can do that, you're not guessing. Now, as part of the Holy Grail sheet, this is where you're also looking at your net worth. And you're putting in this case, it says this is real estate. And so this is all, this is all the real estate and the real estate investments. Here's the non-real estate investments. Here's business cash flow. Here's debt. Here's the different cash flow streams. Again, these are all just spreadsheets that it pulls all the numbers that show what cash flow is, total cash flow is after debt from investments. Shows just total net worth. And then again, you're taking your net worth here that you're going to put into your business spreadsheet. And there's a pie chart and some cheat sheets. So again, this is called the Holy Grail. And the reason why I'm showing this to you is because none of the goals and targets that I've set for myself are guesswork. They're not pulled out of the sky. I have a very clear number that as long as I hit this amount of business revenue minimum, I'm going to hit all of my 2024 lifestyle targets. That's including my working income and passive income, taxes, and everything by filling in those green boxes. So this is a pretty comprehensive spreadsheet. It doesn't have to be comprehensive. This is something that we offer our Curbs and Curbs for Business students. But the point is here, you need some spreadsheet. You need something that is a minimum. Now, the worksheet that I am giving you will at least help you determine how much is enough, which will be a starting place. All right, so this is the Holy Grail spreadsheet. This is personal, and it's taking our personal financial goals and it's just spitting out what our financial targets are going to be. But when we look at the 603, we look at these units and the prices, kind of as a starting place, and how many leads we need to do and how many sales calls we need to do. We take all this information and now we connect it to what's called the 2024 business strategy. And this 2024 business strategy is just this. So I'm going to walk you through how I've created this. This is a tool that we use for Curbs for Business. And this is what we do at Curbs for Business is go through and create a very thorough business plan using these different tools. But in this 2024 business strategy and KPIs, this is where I built my 2024 Wealthy business strategy. And there's links to other spreadsheets. There's the link to the Holy Grail that I just showed you. There's a link to a student log where I keep track of all of our students. And there's a link to our content calendar where we have a spreadsheet for content. For example, if I click there, it takes me to this spreadsheet. So this one spreadsheet here is where everything is stored. And it just makes it really easy to navigate the business plan. And the spreadsheets that are kind of, help me track how we're doing on the business plan so that I find them in all in one place. Before, I have Googled files and things everywhere. And so now I have one document that's linked to everything that I need to be an owner. And an owner plans, an owner creates strategy, an owner leads. An operator is just the person in there making the pies, but not leading and growing and building the bakery. All right, so the 2024 strategic plan. This, and you guys can take a copy of this just to, to look at this, but I wanted to show you how I track everything. So this is 2024 Wealthy annual objectives. So the revenue here we have is annual revenue of this, break it quarterly, monthly, weekly. And here's the profit. The profit is at 272. So when I moved the information from that other spreadsheet, this is where I'm building the business plan. So now the numbers adjusted a little bit. But basically here, it's like if I can generate basically 281,000 on my current profit margin, that's 272. And this is saying where the different revenue from the different offers are going to come from. In the green, these are what I fill in. Again, from that other spreadsheet, I need 75 curb sales. I need 20 C for B sales, 50 campus enrollment, 50 affiliate and other sales. This 166, which are the curb sales calls that I pulled from that other spreadsheet when it took in all of my conversions. So I just pulled all this over from the other spreadsheet. The spreadsheet told me I need 4,000 leads. Hit our numbers. We need 100,000 podcast downloads, and we need 100 JV relationships. So this is just taking and filling in all these goals. And then the spreadsheet calculates that if we hit these goals, this is how much revenue and how much profit we're going to generate, how much revenue from each, how much revenue and profit from each offer of the business. So anyway, this is, again, here's all the goals. So this is the destination. Like I said, these are the targets, the objectives, the goals. This is point B. This is where we want to go. The exercise, though, starts with, remember, you start with where you are today. All right, so I'm going to go over this for like 5 more minutes and open this up to questions. So you're just going to see them that these critical drivers, when I look at, these are the 4 things that are crucially important that I need to measure to make sure that Wealthy hits this revenue target up here. Leadership, management, and culture. This is really important to make sure that leading the team and managing and building the culture we want to create, I think is very important. Need to measure this. The customer life cycle and referrals is very important for us to be able to hit these targets. We need to grow our database, and we need to build brand identity, media, and content. So these are the things we're going to measure. And this whole business plan are the problems that are in the way that are, if we don't solve these problems, we're not going to hit these targets. So I have four basically initiatives as part of my 2024 strategic plan. The one, I call it's $100,000 left on the table, which means the strategy is building a referral system. I need ascension models. I need more partnerships and JVs. I need to add more value to C4B and campus to be able to increase the price. Strategy 2 is a leadership strategy, execution on plan, measurement, accountability, build a management system. Strategy 3, we need to build $100,000 from growth, which we need to do these things. And strategy 4 is opportunities, maybe new offers. So what this is saying that is I have 4 business strategies in 2024 that I think by these strategies are going to help us solve our problems of not having enough leads, of not having the culture and the leadership and the management, of not growing our database and not having enough brand identity. So here's the different offers. Top 10 is this becomes the top 10 priorities, just saying, hey, we've moved these to in tracking them in Asana, and they're in progress. Who's responsible? And we're out of all these things, these are the top 10 that we're already getting started on right now. And this is strategy 1. So strategy 1 is referral system. This is what we need to do to build out the referral system. These are action items. The ascension model. These are the things we need to build for the ascension model. More partnerships and strategic partnerships. This is what we need to do that. Here's an inventory of our JVs. Strategy 4, we need to add more value to curbs. This is what we're going to do there. Strategy 2, here's all the action items. Again, who's responsible, priorities, due dates, check-ins. Strategy 3, same thing. We've gone through and we've done all these things. Strategy 4, we're going to do a certification class, build a YouTube channel, become a real estate instructor, do an insurance, real estate course. So again, these are potential new offers. So this is our strategy. So I, as the owner, am going to be in this all the time, really managing and seeing how we're doing and checking these things off as we get them done. But each one of these is attached to timelines, priorities, who's doing what. And again, this, I can't emphasize enough that that's what business is. Business isn't about the fires. It's not just all about sales. It's not all just about marketing. It's about the whole business plan. This is the yellow brick road. We've identified we need to do these things that will solve our kind of fundamental core chronic problems of the business. And if we do successfully, and this is what we think we need to do that, this is what's going to help us to hit those numbers and maybe even surpass them. But this is the business operation. This is what the focus is. This is what we're working on a day-to-day basis. That way we're not waking up and just like, hey, what do we do today? Let's see what's the burning fire on email. And oh shit, I need to sell a few things. Or oh shit, did I get the social media done? No, this is the yellow brick road. You break that down in monthly stats, where then, you start tracking the stats month over month. Have something called inventory of assets and what's performing and not performing. This over here is the worksheet. Inventory of JV and podcasts, so that we keep track of, the podcasts that are on and who we want to interview and who are prospects for our JV partners. And then here, just kind of this final thing here is the worksheet. And this is where we had these annual strategies. And here's where we were, the problems and obstacles. This is the strategy that we created by taking care of the product problems or obstacles that we identified, and that these are looking at the constraints, like what could be in the way of helping of where we won't be able to achieve these. Usually like capital, like you don't have enough cash, you don't have enough time, you don't have enough resources, but looking at the constraints. So this is the worksheet that I use in the strategic plan. Then again, this is where I spend most of my time as a business owner. I operate also, I'm in doing all the things like being here with you. But this is what the business is going to be focused on this year, and we can track to see if we're on track or not. So I showed you a content calendar to take track of that. This was 2023, so I just wanted to show you like going through, building out these things. You'll see on the strategies, just going out and the things that that we accomplished in 2023. Again, just the same thing, but this was for the 2023 plan, for example. And let's see if there's anything else. So I'm going to go back to, I just went over all that at once. So day 1 review, reflection, future selfing, which is all the 7 F word goals. You calendar all those big rocks and goals. Day 2, start with the meditation, reflective 2023's business and financial goals, looking at the profit and loss and actual spreadsheet that I just showed you. Looking at 2023 project goals versus actuals. How did it relate to growth? What did we do right this year? What did we miss? What was accomplished? What was missed? Why not? Data analysis. What does the data tell us from 2023? Marketing content, successes, failures, what we'll do differently next year. Note accomplishments, what we're proud of, what worked is working well. What do we need to stop to produce more accomplishments? And 2023 overall assessments of the year. Walk and lunch. 33, review wealthy assets and offers, map all the assets, discuss them, break, whiteboard synthesis of ideas and areas for improvement. And day 3, build a 2024 business plan, which means build out that spreadsheet that I just showed you and build out the 2024 content, close retreat, celebrate 2023, and toast to 2024. All right, so that was a lot. The one other final thing that, I didn't show you here is just this, I'm not going to open up my QuickBooks. I'd have to get in my password and everything. But part of that, what I did to be able to reflect on 2023 and really put in these numbers is everything is attached to QuickBooks. And QuickBooks then is going in there and looking at the profit and loss to say, how did we do in 2023? And then set up the projections for 2024. So QuickBooks is another tool that allows us to measure the revenue to make sure that it's on track with everything we're reflecting in the business plan. All right, that was a lot. I did a lot of talking. I'm going to go off screen share, close this out, stay for any questions, and then probably put me back on screen share to show you guys anything that you need to show. The takeaway here is that is to understand that this is a process, and it's something that, like I said, if we go back to this is the process. It's 1 to 3 days of intentional work to set up your business for next year. It's reflecting on everything personally. How'd you do your 7 F words, how you did financially, how you did overall with your marriage, with your finances, with your health, with your family. Acknowledge where you are today. Create that future self projection of where you want personally to be 12 months from now. Then you set your personal goals. Then you set your personal financial goals, and then you move those over to your business. Again, here's using the Holy Grail spreadsheet that I showed you, and then moving everything over, reflecting on your business on 2023. And then setting up your business plan according to some type of strategy that I just showed you. To finish it up, our business planning map. This is something that when you're setting up your business plan, how you do that is you set a goal, which is non-negotiable. You say your 2023 is where you are today. You identify the problems that, I can do this. You identify the problems that your business is having. You build the machine, which is a strategy, and then the people plus how you're going to execute everything. This is how you do it. Your money machine. I'm not going to do this. And then finally, step 4 to wrap us up is wealth for happiness, which is also known as financial freedom. Step 1 was building your lifestyle ambition. Step 2 was building your financial ambition. Step 3 was building your business ambition. And step 4 is really tracking your wealth for happiness. And this looks like a business P&L, where you've got your QuickBooks that you look at your profit and loss for your business. You have your QuickBooks where you look at your profit and loss and how you manage your money in your household to make sure that you're filling all of your buckets, as we teach in Curbs. And you have your balance sheet that is in your Holy Grail that shows how if you're on track or not to hit your net worth goals that will enable you to be financial free. So these are all the things that you're tracking all the time as responsible adults who are serious about our business and serious about living, designing, building, and living a quality good life. To sum us up, our job 1 at the bottom is to build a profitable business. Job 2 is to run a profitable household. Job 3 is to grow a personal balance sheet. And job 4 is just to continue to grow business, grow our life, grow our cash flow. All right. So to finish this off, Brad's going to put a link. If you want a 30-minute business consult, click the link and go ahead and set that up. Do it fast because I only have so many spots open, and so if it fills up, you won't have an opportunity to do that. So go ahead and click the link now and have that in your browser so that you can get a 30-minute business planning consult set up. Complimentary, just so that you know, I'm not charging for that, but complimentary so that we can get you set up on 2024. Those consults will be with yours truly. As you can imagine, it's probably going to take a good portion of my calendar, but I really want to make sure that you're set up strong going into the new year. All right. I feel like I've just been talking a lot. All right. I don't know how many people I lost, but looks like a lot of you guys are still here. So Chuck, I love your smiling face, attentive, like I just love seeing you. So thank you. Most of you have your cameras off. I'm going to put on the chat now. And I just want to say, anybody that wants to jump off, don't jump off until you set your 30-minute consult. But otherwise, for everybody staying, Brad is taking a picture of everybody on so we can make sure that we send you your free gifts for staying on. Even if you walked away and you just left your camera on, that's okay too. But I'm going to stick around for at least 15, 20 more minutes to answer any questions because I covered a lot of material, and we'll make this more interactive and engaging at this point. And thanks for staying on. That was a lot of information. Like I said, I covered 3 days of work in just shy of 2 hours. So well done. All right, you guys. Good job, Brad, taking all the notes. I think the notes are all from Brad.
We have a few comments.
Okay.
Stunning, mind blown, incredible. My notebook is sweating from all that note-taking action.
Awesome. Yay, Lori. I like notebook sweating. Yeah, it's a lot of information. But again, I want to share with you that doing the work for me takes 3 days. But it's a great 3 days. Like, it's really inspiring. It's really soul searching. It's like, you feel like an adult. Like, it's like, when you get your will done, you feel like a real adult. It's like, yeah, I got my will done. I'm a good parent. I'm a good adult. So, this is a real business owner. There's a difference between business ownership and just, hoping I'll be a successful entrepreneur. This is the difference. This is what business owners do that, those that are just kind of winging it don't do. So hopefully I'll show you that this is it's exactly what I do. But once you get it set up, it's super fun to go through it. And it's not that daunting because the time it takes is really thinking and writing on the right boards and all of that. But otherwise, everything I just showed you is really what I use to kind of design and manage the business. That's it. Then everything else is about accountability and execution and staying on track and, putting out fires and all the things.
We got a question.
Yes.
Kim.
Okay. So Kim says, how would you adjust that as a brand new business in its first year? All right. So there's no adjustments. And there's no adjustments, Kim.
Although they won't have last year's numbers.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have last year's numbers, but it's really going in. You're still doing all the things to really look at, personally, based on your personal goals, how much do you need the business to bring in this year? But then also to be realistic. If you're starting at zero, something I like to say, like the first year of business, you don't make money, you lose money. The second year of business, you break even. And the third year of business, then maybe you made your first dollar. So like a dollar you get to keep. So when you're going into business brand new, that's a whole different conversation when I teach new entrepreneurs. But the biggest thing about being a new entrepreneur is, one, be very realistic with the income targets and goals, because there's a lot to learn in business. But a business plan is always crucially important, but is so important for your first year. Because if not, you're going to be chasing stuff all over the place. And it's just going to be shiny penny, one crisis after another. You're going to get very confused as to what you need to start on. So, and usually you need a lot of accountability that first year. So it can be, you really don't know what the right choices are to make. But ultimately, just make sure you build this business plan so that you're going into this year with some sort of direction, with your best guesses at this point. All right. Let's see. Thank you so much. Blah, blah, blah. You made the spreadsheet and business plan actually feel exciting. Yay, Lori, I'm so excited. Is it sexy? Yeah. I like to say your business plan is sexy. Let's see. All right. Do you guys have any other questions? Again, you'll be getting I'll show you if you're on here. Let me see if I've got it. I can. Here's the 7 F words packet. So,
You got it.
yeah, I'm gonna share my screen here. So I'll just show you, just so that you see, here's what the 7 F words looks like. So it's a guide that goes through and it says, you know, your current grade, I'd like my grade to be here. I'm going to get that grade. So it's just a little worksheet and guide to help you guide through all the 7 F words. So get that spreadsheet. You'll also, I didn't save it here, I should have, but you'll also get, like I said, the how much money is enough to help you set up your personal goals that works with your 7 F word spreadsheet, and get the agenda so that you have the agenda of just things to go through to be able to do your business plan. Then the step number 4 is to set up your consult. And then also, if you guys have any questions about Curbs or Curbs for Business, this is what we do. We actually build a business plan and talk about business and it's kind of a mastermind, that type of thing. But I help business owners build their plan, build their strategy, and learn all the fundamentals of business to make sure we're owners and not just the operators. All right. Come on, guys. Somebody's got to have just a juicy question for me.
I asked for everybody to put their business in the chat. Everyone's doing great. About
Okay.
That, I appreciate it.
All right. I'm a functional medicine, MP, Reiki master. Awesome. Okay. An artist, dog training, real estate. Yeah. Hey, Jessica. Art sales and placement. Oh yeah, Lori, I remember. Functional and osteopathic medicine, relationship coach. Awesome. Okay, you guys, yay. You guys are amazing. I'm going to close it here since we don't have any questions. I'd like to close everything by saying, take a deep breath in. Let it go. Doing this for myself. Take a deep breath in. Krisstina, that's a lot of talking. Let it go. The love and light me loves, honors, and cherishes and sees the love and light in you. Thank you so much for showing up in full presence, staying to the very end. It's an honor to me, but it's really an honor to yourself. I'm wishing you the best 2024 year ever, financially and personally. And please know that I and the entire Wealthy team are in your corner, here to help in whatever capacity. And you guys go rock it, stay in touch, and happy holidays.